Stitch Cuties, I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and in this video tutorial, we're gonna make this adorable watering can, which is your block 5 of your Garden Moments block of the month. Now, this tutorial is specific for Sewing Machine Applique members, so that's who wants to be watching right now. If you're a member of the embroidery machine version of this club, I have a video tutorial for you for that as well. So what you wanna do is get all of your applique pieces ready to go, and let me tell you how I do that. So when you open your pattern, you can read through your instructions, of course, prep your fabric and things like that, but you can see the applique units that we're going to build. We have applique unit 1, which are pieces 1 through 9, applique unit 2 are pieces 10 through 17, and then we're gonna iron that along with pieces 18 through 20 onto our background fabric. So what we're gonna do first, I've gone on and identified all my pieces, so I've written the numbers on the back, and what I do is you can use either your placement guide and put the fabric side up, or to me what's easier when I'm identifying my pieces is put them the fusible side up, so the white paper backing side up onto the pieces, and you'll be able to number it. And you can also draw a little arrow up onto your flower so that you know the up version of the flower when we put that on, just like we've been doing for the previous months. So what I need is my placement guide now. So I've gone through the rest of the steps. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. It's a cold that I've had for like a month. No fun. Okay, so what I have in front of me, I have my light pad, the applique glass. I'm putting my placement guide down, and now I'm gonna put my fusing mat right on top. And what we're gonna build first is our watering can. So pieces 1 through 9, very easy to build. So I have my pieces in order. Let's begin. So piece number 1, I'm just gonna put that in place. Oh, I missed it a little. There we go. Easy peasy. Now we're gonna jump over here to piece number 2. It goes right in place. And now, see, I don't have it quite in the right spot. You wanna make sure, especially where the pieces overlap, that's where it's really important to make sure you have it in the right spot. Now we have number 3, which is at the end of the little watering spout. Number 4, which is this charcoal colored accent. Put that right here. And now we have our first area that I'm gonna iron, where our pieces over and underlap. Just for a second, give that some heat right there. Now we're gonna put down piece number 5. Just like so. This is so easy. Applique by numbers. That's really what we should call it, huh? Pull it down just a little. Now we're gonna put the top of our watering can on, like so. And then the bottom, let's give this a press. Almost didn't, did you see that? And we'll press where this overlaps as well for the watering can. Now we will put the bottom. Now you'll notice with this piece of charcoal doesn't overlap with your watering can. It comes right up to it. See, it's a perfect little line. It's the same cut. But what holds it together is this little cute pink plaid or gingham accent that goes across the seam. There we go. And it just goes right over the top. There we go. I'm gonna hold that in place, and it lines up perfectly on either end. There we go. So now to complete the watering can, we just have the heart right in the center. Right like so. There we go. And we'll iron that in place. So now that first unit is done, I'm just gonna leave it where it is. I'm gonna move my fusing mat over just a little. So now we're gonna work on the flowers. So we are gonna do 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 to build that little unit of flowers. So first up, number 10, our little leaf. There we go. Then we have number 11, which is our stem. I just love these kits because you get it, you open it, and just, gosh, in like 15 minutes, you're ready to sew. So again, I gave myself my arrows. using my placement guide or your reverse pieces so you can identify the direction of the flower. Although look, my little arrow, sometimes I feel I did my arrow upside down. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my arrows in these tutorials. All right. And then up. There we go. Now we are going to number 14. Just like so. And a stem. And this stem, you want to make sure that it's overlapping. It doesn't overlap much, but you can see it overlaps all those pieces. So I'm going to go on. I haven't pressed this yet. I'm going to give it a press just so when I'm putting that flower on, the final flower, I don't move my stem. See, it just barely overlaps here. Now we're going to put our final flower in place and the flower center. So already we are ready to put this onto our background fabric. So let's grab that. And what we're gonna do is take our units off of our fusing mat. Look how cute that is, you guys. Oh my gosh. And in the background, if you can hear my dog panting, she's leaning against me, panting. She's just been running around the office with mom's dog, Ellie Bear. And I just picked her up from the groomer, so she's got some pent up energy and she looks like a teddy bear, which is just like, she's so stinking cute, y'all, right now. Okay, so I didn't iron my background fabric ahead of time like I was supposed to. So let me give that a little press. And again, I recommend doing consistent amount of starch throughout the entire process. So pretend I starched. And now we're gonna take our fabric and put it right over our placement guide. Again, you just need to make sure that it's covering that outer trim line, your 7.5 inch trim line. We are going to first put our watering can right in place. Then let's put our flowers down here. So easy peasy. And then we have 3 little water drops to put in place. Now all 3 water drops are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. And so in just a moment, we'll iron these in place. And now let's talk about how you're gonna sew this block. So if you are doing the quilt as you go version, meaning you're gonna have fusible batting behind this, and you're gonna put fusible batting behind all of your blocks and sashings and such, then you're gonna want to trace the quilting and or draw your own quilting design that you want to use. And you're gonna use that fusible batting is gonna function as your stabilizer, so you don't need a stabilizer. However, if you're doing the regular traditional quilting method, meaning you're gonna put your blocks together, your quilt top together, and then quilt your project, the only thing you need to trace are your accent lines on your flowers, what you could do before you build your applique unit. So let's give this a press. All right, and then I always do one final press again on my Steady Betty. There we go. Boop. And I'll remove my pattern. So I do just one final press because when you are pressing on the glass, it's a little different than pressing on this Steady Betty. And again, it doesn't take very long for it to stick. See how quick that was? That's adorable. So now let's talk about the sewing. So this version right here that I have stitched is a quilt as you go version. You can see the reason there's stabilizers, this is from the embroidery machine. So ignore that you don't need the stabilizer for the sewing machine version. But you will have your quilting on top of your fusible batting. And then you'll notice between your fusible batting and that outer line, you have a 1/4 inch without the fusible batting. And that's so when you marry your seams together and put your quilt blocks together, you don't have that bulk in your seam allowances. It will lay really nice and flat at the end. But again, if you're doing the regular quilting at the very end, then you don't need your fusible batting. You just need stabilizer under it. And that's explained in the pattern. And you know that because we're on block 5 already. I don't know why I'm explaining that so much because you know that. Now we have our little stitch guide. So let's talk about what we stitch. So the black is what we stitch all of the gray and the charcoal pieces in. And on this, I kept my stitch size the same for everything in the black. The petal pink is your darker pink. So you have that around the heart. the inside of your flowers. And we use that darker pink here on the accent line as well. Then you have your avocado, the 1177 is for the stem and the leaves. You have your sweet pink, which is the outside of your flowers like always. And then finally the heron blue on the 3 water drops. And I did take the stitch size down just a hair on these water drops. I believe I took it down to a 2 instead of a 2.5 because you don't, again, want to have those stitches going over themselves. So I hope that you enjoyed this video tutorial. This is a really fun block to make. And again, it's a really fun quilt to make. Thank you so much for being a member of the Garden Moments Block of the Month. And if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. Happy stitching!